Sunrise Extra. If the headline above our video didn't get your attention, have you been drinking more during the pandemic? I don't know what you're clicking on then. Because our producer found a Wall Street Journal article. I love how Joe is like front and center. You're our only dude, Joe, so we had to have you.
It's about
talking about guys.
Mm-hmm. And so
hey, I get it. I'm glad to be here.
We're going to really pry into your social life now. So the Wall Street Journal did an article about how, oh my God, I have so much.
And it's all over the place too.
Men urged to limit alcohol to 1 drink a day amid new concerns, it says. So they apparently did a bunch of studies. And they decided that the limit of 2 drinks per day was too high. And so they reduced it down to 1 drink a day. So now both men and women, the guidance is a recommended limit of 1 drink per day to lower heart disease and early death. And this is combined with a rise in Americans drinking being accelerated during the pandemic.
I can believe that is true. People have been stuck in their house, especially early on during the shutdown. You know, they deemed liquor stores essential because they knew they would have a riot on their hands if they shut that off when there was nothing else to do. But this study you're talking about, I was kind of perusing and looking around on different sources, and there is some disagreement, Joe, over whether this really is a thing or whether it should be a thing. But I know for us, like if I'm opening a bottle of wine and you've got 2 people, that's like 2 glasses apiece. You can't stick the wine bottle back in the fridge and let it go kind of.
I mean, you can.
No.
Well, can we? We never do. We never do.
I'm with you, Brenda. No, you do not let the wine go bad. I don't, drink. I haven't been drinking in XX, of course, but, I'll have like last night we had Italian for dinner, and being Italian, I'm going to drink some wine. And I had two glasses, and I think you're right. A lot of people were kind of drinking early on, just take the edge off. And I think you just have to do things in moderation. I'm not saying I agree with that report, but I'm just saying one, like the bottle of wine is a perfect example. If you're not going to just open it and have 1 glass, especially if you're going to have, sharing a glass with your wife or whatever. My wife's not drinking right now because she's due any day. But
no, you're expecting a baby. How exciting!
I think it's been a crazy last few months, obviously. But I think if you do it carefully, if you have a couple drinks a night, it's not going to hurt you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're staying home. You're not going anywhere. You can't go to the bars, so just have your own little happy hour.
Yeah, and I know the OLCC has had numbers that we've reported, but I was just looking in this latest Wall Street Journal. Sales of alcohol at liquor and grocery stores have risen 26%, and that was just in March and April. So I imagine because now that bars are open, maybe a little bit less. In Spain, 60% surge. Beer purchases went up 80%. And I mean, it's happening all over the world, it says. And so now they're coming out with a study that says really only 1 drink per night. But I would guess, most people have, like I try and not have anything like Sunday to Wednesday.
I love those self-imposed rules.
I know.
You've always said that. You're going to try not to drink. Yeah, no, but if it works for you, and then you load up on the weekend.
Yeah. D. Han Hyun on Facebook. I know I probably did not say that correctly. She says, I was a light wine drinker on occasion, but when she got pregnant with her first child, she just quit automatically.
Interesting.
Yes, it is that 9-month self-imposed quit.
Angela says, I stopped drinking at Christmas, but my hubs has definitely upped his drinking.
And Jennifer Taft, yes, cannabis as well right now. If you're responsible, we need a mental break from reality. And at least, Oregon marijuana stores seeing a huge uptick in sales since March because of the pandemic.
One of our regular Stanford Walker also says, Ms. Braxton, you are correct about liquor stores being essential. Hey, Stanford.
It has been kind of fun, like trying new things though, like we've been doing a ton of gardening I've been talking about, and I always have like a bunch of herbs, growing. And so our mint went crazy finally this year, and I've been cutting that and making mojitos at home for the first time.
Yum.
And, you know, muddling that with lime and sugar. But again, that's like packing on the pound. So I only try and have one of those. But it's been kind of fun, like trying different recipes.
I know. See, I'm
home.
with you. My favorite drink is way too caloric. I love Spanish coffees, and this time of year, like iced Spanish coffees. So you've got the Kahlua, you have a little splash of cream, you have the rum, you have the triple sec, you have the sugared rim. I don't even want to think about how many calories is in that. Joe, do you have a favorite drink?
I'm with you. During the holidays, it's definitely the Spanish coffee, and on warm nights that we have been seeing, gosh, I like martinis. I'll have a martini here and there, but yeah, it's like I said, it's not fun to drink alone when you have your wife who can't.
What have you guys?
anything.
Have you been kind of like
backing off a little bit?
Sympathy backing off with her through this whole time?
A little bit, yeah. She's not a big drinker to begin with, but still, it's, you know, she doesn't want to, you know, I'm just, yeah, I guess a little bit, but yeah, it's been a wild ride for everybody, and I think
I heard you saying, Joe, this morning
especially when
we
it's
were
warm out too.
Yeah, when we were getting our mic checks and stuff, that you had to move your little studio. Are you in the upcoming baby's new little nursery right now?
I'm in the nursery.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
What
so
happened? You've had to move a bunch of places.
And so I've just been kind of all over the place because Kate's been working from home too, and so it's trying to make it, making her work days go smooth and mine. So it's not easy doing this whole working from home thing. So I'm kind of jealous of you and Brenda who get to come into the station.
Are you really? I always wondered that. Yeah.
I mean, come on, if I had to be stuck at home, there is something about keeping a relatively normal schedule. Even though this building is pretty much empty, I still get up and do that thing where I get to leave the house. And the other people in my house are pretty much staying in the house. You know, especially early on, nobody left. So I'm glad to have this. I think you're right. But Joe, you know, when you fill in, like, you have to be quiet because you've got a son who's asleep, your wife, I'm not sure if she's asleep, but you're like trying to be quiet and also trying to do your TV gig, filling in for Rod.
Yeah, and so they're across the house. I'm in, and so they're. Kate's not been sleeping anyways. I want to make it the Sunrise Extra all about our baby experience, but
we love
she's not
baby
sleeping right now anyways. And Hanley wakes up at the crack of dawn anyway, so I only have to be quiet for a couple hours of my morning shift. But yeah, so they're up right now across the house, and you just you figure out a good way to do it. And he has a sound machine on, so it kind of drowns out some of my voice. So. There's workarounds, and that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, no kidding. I love people like shouting out what their favorite drinks have been. Stanford Walker said he had his first chocolate martini, last year. Chocolate martinis are good. Somebody else says, Ginny Carlson, hey Ginny, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. She likes pineapple cider. I've been loving tasting a bunch of new ciders too.
I love pineapple cider.
How do you say it? Goes beers? That certain kind of brewed beer.
I don't do anything
Gose.
with beer. I just never acquired the taste for it. Susan Decker says, in Vegas, I had a drink called chocolate cake. It tasted like German chocolate cake. Oh my gosh. Rich. And let's see. John says 1 or 2 beers a weekend with sushi. That's what I haven't had in forever since this whole pandemic mess.
That's a little too hard to make at home, but and takeout has been hard. I've gotten sushi a couple times takeout, and it's just not the same. You know, it travels weird. It's not. I don't know. It just always kind of falls apart in the box by the time it gets to me.
Let's see.
Shannon Martin Sims shouted out your Spanish coffees from Huber's. They're what dreams made of. Remember back in the good old days, Brenda, when we did a story with Huber's like last year, and the bartender did the whole flair and showed us how to make one at home, and Rod was there learning how to do it in person.
Yes.
That video's on our YouTube page, I'm sure, if you want to know how to make them at home.
I started going to Huber's when I was in college, and I think the statute of limitations has run out. I mean, we were 21, but we used to skip our newspaper meeting for
You
the
did?
Beacon,
And go there?
like once a week, and we'd go down there, two 21-year-old girls. I think it was the features editor and myself, and we would go hang out. I've been going to Huber's my entire life, and I had favorite waiters. And I remember like a couple of years ago, Jeff and I went out to Huber's, and I had two different waiters, and I was giving the one that I knew really well. I'm like, boy, the first one, it seems like it was stronger. It was like a better drink. And he lowered the boom on me. I walked out. Jeff was like, had me by the arm. I'm like,
boy.
oh my goodness, I'm going to keep my mouth shut next time.
For it.
I did.
Oh, Z-Rod says Old English and Popeye's chicken. I love me some Popeye's
Old
chicken.
English.
That's gross. Yeah.
Man, that takes me
Fresh
way
berry
back.
margaritas. Oh, you guys. Okay, if you like margaritas, I found the best margarita mix, and they sell it at Target of all places and
Really?
New Seasons, and I've seen it at certain liquor stores, and it's called Mahoney and hold on. Gosh, of course, I'm gonna forget about this. Mahoney and something mixer. And it is like the most fresh Powell and Mahoney cocktail mixers. And they make Bloody Mary mix, they make margarita mix, they make like lemon sour mix to mix with bourbon. And it is, Target has the best price, of course, versus like New Seasons or something like that.
Okay.
But it is the freshest, like limiest, non-fake margarita mix. And so we've been doing that, you know, on these hot days. And somebody else said gin and tonics. I saw, was that Jennifer Taft, gin and tonics?
Yep, you got it. That sounds really good. Nina, you're always teasing me about me liking wine.
Yes.
I don't know. What is it,
like
ladies,
wine,
when you
too.
hit middle age, you're like, woohoo! Mama needs her wine.
Because it looks nice, you know, hanging from your hand, and it looks very sophisticated, but
Is
it's
that
also
what
delicious.
it is?
I think
'Cause
so.
I remember when the kids were little, I may have like one glass of wine every 2 months. What has happened to Brenda Braxton?
Yeah, have you visited your wine guy?
Oh, at QFC,
Yeah.
Jarrett the wine guy. You know, I haven't because I've been like on a mission in and out with my mask.
Yes.
But I've seen him kind of from afar, and we just wave from a distance.
Should
But he's
shout out
great.
some good, you know, wine picks from him.
You know what? That's a good idea. You know what? You've inspired me, Miss
Yes. Get more wine, Braxton.
Nina. Renee says Cuba Libre.
Oh, what's in that, Renee?
I don't
Cuba
know.
Libre. That is, it's rum. It's almost
It's
like
just
a
rum and Coke with the
daiquiri, right?
lime on the side.
Oh, it's rum and Coke? For real?
It's rum and Coke, but you just put a lime on the side, and it makes
And
it
that
the
makes it a
Cuba
Cuba
Libre,
Libre.
I believe.
Interesting. You sound like you may have been a bartender at some point, Joe. Have you ever done any serving for an odd job?
You are speaking to a former bartender.
Where did
Yeah,
you
back in the
bartend
day in
at?
college, I mixed drinks at Michael's Landing in Corvallis. It's now, I think, the old spaghetti factory. But yeah, I spent a couple of years mixing drinks. It was one of my favorite jobs I've ever had.
Oh my gosh, I can totally see you doing that.
Do you have crazy stories from back in the day?
Tell us, Joe.
I mean, there's some I could share now. There's some I could share, off camera when our mics are.
Oh no, we want all the juicy
It was
details.
fun, and one of my favorite. One of my favorite drinks to make was the Spanish coffees, and you just got the flame going. It's just moth to a flame. People just like all eyes are on the bartender when they're making those drinks, and that was just a fun time. It's like right on the river there in Corvallis. Yeah, I miss it.
How did you learn to do that? Because the way that they pour those things from so high, I mean, you must have had a wipeout occasionally.
I honestly had one wipeout, and I didn't go to the bartending academy. They hired me, and I was a waiter, and they're like, "Hey, can you mix a couple drinks?" I'm like, "Sure." I didn't know how. I had a Rolodex I could roll through it to make Manhattans and stuff. I didn't know how, but yeah, if I remember, it's just a little bit of you sugarcoat the glass, and then you pour a little bit of 151 in, and you strike a match, light the 151, and let the sugar caramelize a little bit, and you start pouring in the liquor, the Kahlua, the little triple sec, and the coffee, and then throw a little whipped cream, and then get the nutmeg going to kind of make it a little nice. And
Oh, he's taking a walk
might make
down
one
memory
right now.
lane.
Virtually bartending right now. I love it.
Microphone is
I don't know.
doing
I was
that.
trying
What
to
is
decide
that
if
that
it's
I'm
mine.
Yeah.
Is that Joe? Is that me? Oh, Joe, it's you. Director Brian says it's you.
That's mine. Sorry.
Ginny Carlson Long Island's is my go-to 20-something drink. Oh, I cannot
Those will
do that.
sneak up on you, but
There's
they
literally
are good.
everything in there, right?
John also says Royal Flush, so that's Crown Royal and peach schnapps, shaken with pineapple and cranberry. Best drink ever. Yum. I remember back in the day when I liked sweet drinks, I liked those fuzzy navels, which was peach schnapps and orange juice, I think.
Peach schnapps.
What did you drink in college? How about that as a question? My palate back then, we used to drink Bartles and James.
Those were so good. Yeah.
And Asti Spumanti.
Yes, I remember
the
that.
rocks.
I remember Zimas. They were like the clear, kind of almost White Claw-ish seltzer. I don't even know what it was. Seltzery alcohol, Zima. And what else? Those
Yeah, with
wine
Zima and Mike's Hard
coolers.
Lemonade was a big one.
Yes, Mike's Hard Lemonade. And just crappy beer, basically. Crappy, terrible beer. Let's see, I just got reminded of something that somebody was asking about here. But, I saw it on Twitter, and it was like, what smell of alcohol do you smell that totally like makes you revert back to a PTSD experience of like, I can never drink that again? And for me the other day, it was a hand sanitizer that they were handing out in our newsroom, like little personal bottles of hand sanitizer. Joe, you don't get these lovely experiences, but they give us masks and set stuff out on the conference room tables. And so we opened, like me and one of our directors, Jay, opened the bottle and just gave it a little sniff, and I was like instantly like almost dry heaving because it reminded me of like vodka or something. It was so strong and gross. And so I don't really drink vodka because it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Renee Robertson says for her it's gin. Dee Memorine says it's gin for her. I used to drink rum and cokes, and I probably would have a problem with that now.
Yeah, same.
Like
That's
smelling
mine.
it. Yeah.
Some rum things just don't sit well with me. Well, I need to go and
Brenda's
my
gotta
coffee.
go.
I need to do a Today Show cut-in. So,
Yay.
chop chop.
James Moss, good for you. He hasn't had any alcohol since November. No explanation, just not drinking. No life-altering reason either. Just
To each
became
his own.
more work than fun. Yes, agreed, James. You are the responsible one with us. Hey, Joe, thank you for letting us pry into your personal life. And
it's always good to
home.
have you.
Hey, not a
appreciate
problem.
it.
Good to hear you guys.
Have a nice breakfast with the fam. We will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for chatting with us.